Before I start, I'm confirming that everyone can see my screen. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So good evening, everyone. My name is Ankita Nalavre. I'm from EDC Capital, and today I'm going to talk about Andrew Haswell Green pile repair work. So the pile repair work is located on the east side under the heliport structure in transition between the East Midtown Greenway Esplanade and the Andrew Haswell Green Park. You can see the highlighted area on your screen. So this is the zoomed in version of the map where you can see in the pictures, that is the area under which the piles that are to be repaired are located. So this is your can you see my cursor? This is the Andrew
Yes.
Haswell Green Park. This is where the esplanade begins, and this is the area between those two. And this is the Alice Cock Pavilion. So we are repairing the piles that support this area. That is our limit of repairs. So what does this repair entail? This is now planned at the pile level. So there are existing timber piles that have been deteriorated. This dotted is the heliport structure above, and under that heliport structure, there are some steel pipes. So those steel pipes have also deteriorated. So the repair will include timber pile repair, steel pile repair, and there is a mass concrete entombment area in this part, which you can see. And again, to orient you, this is the 60th Street tram, this is Waterside, and under the heliport is the steel pipes, and outside of that are timber piles. So these are some of the images of deterioration that we documented, the timber pile deterioration and steel pile condition. What we are going to do, and this is specifically for the timber repair, is we have proposed a fiberglass jacket around the deteriorated pile, and then we are going to fill the gap between the deteriorated pile and the new fiberglass jacket with epoxy fill, which will make it more sturdy and will help this last more the pile. Similarly, for steel pile repair, we are doing fiberglass jacket. That's why the work is called encapsulation. And then we are going to fill epoxy between the jacket and the steel pipe. And this is the mass concrete entombment that I was showing on the map earlier. This is the formwork seated in mudline, and then we are going to fill it with lightweight concrete fill so that these piles become more sturdy and last longer. So if this is a sectional view, you can see the deck above, the piles and the lightweight concrete, and this is the mudline. So when this work is going to start is contingent on DEC and SBS permits, but tentatively now we are tracking construction mobilization to start in September 2024, and then the construction start in October 2024, and then it will continue until February 2026, so around 15 to 16 months of construction period. So while this construction is ongoing, we are anticipating temporary reduced access. Reduced access as in now the pedestrian pathway is 15 feet. That will be reduced to 10 feet during construction. But at the same time, we do not anticipate full closure of the EMG Esplanade or Andrew Haswell Green Park. They will be open all the time. The temporary reduced access is only means that the public can use the ramp from 60th Street to south towards the pavilion will be narrowed to allow concrete trucks to do this work. And that is only for limited period of time. That is maybe whenever we need to get the trucks in. That is, say, few weeks within this entire 15 months of construction timelines. To elaborate on that, this is the diagram that shows construction logistics. The concrete truck will enter through 60th Street ramp, go all the way, go through the Andrew Haswell Green Park. This is where the pedestrian access will be reduced for certain amount of time. And then this is where the trucks will have concrete, and it will use a pump which will then take it to the piles. Okay. So yeah, thank you for your attention. Let us know if you have any questions.
Can you go back to your last screen, please?
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure that I'm following you. Are the trucks coming? How far, once they come around the curve, how far forward are they coming?
They are coming all the way here.
Okay, so where are they pumping the concrete from?
They will get the ready mix concrete. So, and then you can see in this map, there is a materials barge. That's where it will get pumped to.
Oh, so there's
and it'll go down.
There's a barge out in the river?
Yes.
Oh, okay, that wasn't clear. Because it would seem to me that the work would have to be done under the structure. Is that not correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
The work will happen under the structure, but this is just the materials barge in case where we'll store materials for the work under the deck.
Okay, I have no more questions. Is anyone from the public? Kevin, I can't see who's on the screen. Are there any hands raised?
If anyone from the public has a question, feel free to raise your virtual hand. I don't see anyone right now, no.
And so I just have one question. Is the pile repair, that is the only remaining portion of the subsurface repair work that's required? Everything else has been done?
Everything else in the can you elaborate on everything else?
Okay, fair. All that portion of the esplanade has been completely rebuilt.
No. We still have phase 3, the inside of under the former sanitation building where the bikers and the walkers ride. That part has not been done. We haven't raised the funds for it.
But otherwise, the full all the issues related to the structural integrity of the esplanade will have been repaired or replaced.
So with this project, we are doing 60% encapsulation of piles, which will enable the structure to last longer. I see Shakiro's hand as well.
Hi, this is Shakiro, the capital team at EDC. So all projected work on the project has been completed. What is left is this pile wrap, which is again supposed to allow the piles to last another 60, 70 years, thereabout, as opposed to demolishing the structure and rebuilding it all over. So everything that was planned for the project has been done, except for phase 3 that was just mentioned. So this is just pile wrap, and that's what's left to be done.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, 60 to 70 years is terrific. We never hear that on anything. Well, if no one else has any questions, I want to thank you both very much for coming. And you'll let us know if for any reason this doesn't start in the fall, if it's delayed.
Yes. We
We'll
will
let
keep
you know.
informed.
And we'll let you know also, like, we'll be in touch when everything is starting, and the public is aware of dates and everything else.
Okay, so we'll also, I guess you'll have to be posting some signs there because of the access.
Yeah, we will be doing that.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So next we are moving on to the revised layout of the proposed design for St. Catherine's Park. We talked about it at the last Parks Committee meeting. A number of issues came up from the community, and so we are bringing back the select items to talk about and provide an opportunity to update the resolution and approval of the revised, changes to St. Catherine's Park. So with that, I would like to first call on Officer Larkin.
No, let's have Chris Crowley do his presentation first before we hear from anybody.
Oh, my apologies.
I saw Chris earlier. I don't know if he's here. Chris Crowley.
Chris,
Yes.
I'm sending you the prompt to unmute. Please chat me if you're having any issues.
Can you hear me? There. You can hear me now, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Judy. Thank you, Community Board 8. I'm back again to show the St. Catherine's Park. This is a $9 million project funded by the mayor, the city council member, and the Blood Center. And it's a 3-acre park, a little more than 3 acres. All these you have seen before, so we're going to kind of go through them a little bit fast. There's no flooding problem at this site. It's rather high up. The site doesn't have a lot of other parks around it, which means it gets heavily used, particularly by the neighborhood hospital workers at lunchtime. And we all know the existing conditions. It's this promenade that goes around this existing grid of trees. In the center, there's play areas. In the very center, there's a spray shower. On the west side, there's all the courts and sports. These are just sort of analysis. This one I'd like just to take a moment for, because if there's people new at the meeting that weren't here last time, this is about the pattern in the park, and it came from the Santa Maria Sopra Minerva Basilica in Rome. This was a Florentine church, so it has a very Renaissance-looking floor. This happens to be where St. Catherine's body lies. So I took these patterns. You can recognize this probably from the spray shower here. And the corner details here, all these patterns are in the church. This is a corner detail in the church. So all this paving patterns that you see here comes from this church where St. Catherine's bodies rest. By the way, St. Catherine is the patron saint of the ill. It's probably no coincidence why it's in the hospital district. In our existing condition photos, this is the armillary that we're going to be talking about a little bit because it's one of the items on the agenda. I guess the issue is that kids climb on it and they feel like it's dangerous for them to fall on the pavement. We're going to have a tough time relocating this in a plant bed. And we're a little reluctant putting it in a plant bed. One, just disturbing the roots of any kind of trees or plant material. But two, it really stops the function of what this is. This is like a sundial. These are numbers along here. It casts shadows on the pavement showing those numbers, and you can tell what time it is. So it's kind of an educational piece. It's a nice piece. We're actually looking at where we can relocate it in another park. I guess that was okay with the community board to get rid of it, so we can still talk about that. The other option is maybe putting a little fence around here so that keep kids out of the center area of it so they can't climb on it. So We're willing to relocate it, take it out of the park, or it's going to be hard to put in a plant area because the beds are so thin and there's trees and everything. We don't know what you want to do with it. So the promenade, the sitting areas, there's a center spray shower. Outside the church is a statue by Bernini of an elephant with an obelisk on it, and that's how I chose the elephants, is because of the Bernini statue outside the church in Rome. And here's our court area, which will be up for discussion. And one of the things that we're going to be talking about is removing 2 basketball courts. There are 6 now, and it'd be the center ones between the handball court and the one right across adjacent to it would be the 2 that would be removed. So this is the new proposed plan. The community wanted the two basketball courts removed. And so we removed those. They wanted only 2 pickleball courts, but we thought we could do 3. And we thought 3 would be, we had 4, we proposed 4 the last time, but we thought we could do 3. So we'd be removing 2 basketball courts and doing the 3, and we can set them far enough from the handball courts. I think this gives room for everybody here and with the basketball gone. The other issue was the armillary, which we just talked about. We had talked about locating in these 2 beds because they were wider. These are all quite narrow, and the globe is, I don't know if it's going to be against the fence, but at some point, I'm going to meet your gardener out there, and we will look at maybe where it could be located in the plant beds. I don't see where it can right now because of these trees in there. So we're willing to, in taking it out or putting a fence around it. I'd like to keep it on pavement so it would work as a sundial like it should be doing. And then the other item was the chain link fences. You wanted them, they're currently 15 feet high, and you want to keep them 15 feet high. Well, we think the back one should stay 15 feet high. It's also on a little 3-foot wall, so it's about 18 feet high. Or it's not 3 feet, it's about 2 feet. But the fence comes along right up to the top, the same height as a handball wall. So it's important to keep that high because when you play handball and you miss the wall, you don't want to go over the fence. So we'll keep this fence at the height it's at now. We originally proposed that the other 3 sides would be 8 feet. The community felt that was too low because it is a ball court field and bars go flying over. But we thought we instead of keeping it 15, we'd do a compromise and make it 12 feet. So this would be 12 feet all around. And that's the height we like to have behind basketball courts. So it wouldn't go 8, then 12, 8, then 12. We just keep it all 12. Excuse me. And then the last issue were the interior gates, the little gates. We've been calling them demi gates. The community wants them back in. The Parks does not want to put them back in. They want to keep them out. However, at the end of the meeting, we decided that 68th Street one would be out and the 67th Street one we'd keep in because this is where the rolling occurs and goes down. So the 67th Street one we'd keep in, the 68th Street one we'd keep out. This is just a quick look at the play equipment, the colors and materials. The spray shower proposed for the spray shower here. We'll do more. We'll put 2 more. Replace the elephants. We'll put new elephants in actually. And I know there's the other issue is the benches. We'll talk about that. This is the perimeter fence around the play area. We'll be lowering that so it's sort of a consistent height. The exercise unit will replace and we'll keep this kind of linear unit so that it's similar to what's there now. The other site amenities. Okay, so the benches was the other issue. Some of these benches have plaques, and we want to keep the benches. Most of the benches will stay where they are. There'll be 1 bench that will have to move, and we can locate it real close to where it is now. And I'll show you why we need to relocate it on the plan down here. This is the existing fence plan. Shows 15-foot fence around, 4-foot fence on each side here, and then it's a 7-foot fence that will change. The heights will vary, but it'll be no shorter than 4 feet. But it's going to vary because of the walls going up and down. So this is the proposed plan: 15, 12, 4 feet minimum, and a little 2.5-foot fence around the garden areas that you saw last time. We'll be redoing some of the street trees with the elms. And this is the bench. This little entrance area is over closer to here. We're relocating it so it sort of comes on center to the pattern and everything. And this is where there is one bench with a plaque that we would like to move into the garden area here. These 2 benches already have plaques, but the rest of the benches with plaques, it's that one. I think it's that one, and there's a couple here. They will remain. I'm sorry, I got a little tickle in my throat. So that's this is the new proposal. I think we gave you some of what you wanted. I think we compromised on some, and I'd be happy to listen to what you have to say.
I just have one quick question, and then I think we should turn it over to Officer Larkin. But just the one quick question. I didn't fully understand the keeping the 67th Street gate and removing the 68th Street one.
Yes. The issue here, from what I understand, is this promenade. By the time you get to this point, it starts sloping down. And there was this once talk about fear of runaway strollers or kids on bicycles or something going down the hill. So this little fence will keep. This little gate here will keep. And this gate we don't feel it's necessary to keep. So this one we're choosing not to put back.
Chris, can I say something about the gate?
Sure.
The reason we put in the gates were because the kids, when a parent comes with 2 or 3 kids, and one of them is much younger and runs out after them, the parent can't catch the kid that's running out when she's got another little one. And it happens both at the 68th and the 67th Street. It's really a safety issue. It's a really big safety issue. But I'll hold my comments till the end after everyone has spoken. Let's,
Okay.
as police said, let's go to Police Officer Larkin.
Can we unmute Officer Larkin? Go ahead. I think you're unmuted. I can't hear you. No. Sorry, I still can't hear you. No.
Officer, we recommend you try calling in with your phone, using your phone audio, or you can also try leaving the meeting on your computer and rejoining, see if that works.
So in the meantime, I just want to reiterate what you said. I have gone to that park quite a fair bit when my child was little, and because you're right on a main avenue, you don't want the ability for the kids to just run out onto the to the street. It is a real issue, and that's why I think those demi gates are important to keep.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. Uh, of course, this becomes an issue higher than my level, higher than the design level. You know, I will put in what it ends up being. So you need to speak to your council person or the commissioner and come to an agreement there. Currently, the agency was not willing to put a second gate in on 68th Street.
Okay. I see Officer Larkin.
Hear me now?
Yep.
Sorry about that. Just get my screen set up. Okay, sorry about that. Thank you for inviting me. I'm Officer Larkin for the 19th Precinct Community Affairs. I've been on the police department since 2008. I've been with the 19th Precinct since 2011. I have a little background in basic methods of security, which I took a 5-day training and different types of security, which includes fencing as well. I know there's some concern with the fencing in the basketball court area and around the park to keep children within the park. I myself have 2 small kids, and I've brought them to the park, and I know how fast they could be and how distracting it could be, not knowing where they are at all times. And if you're in a park where it's not fully enclosed, you know, we can have that safety concern of a child escaping the park, and God forbid they enter the street, which we do have a busy avenue and bike lanes in Second Avenue. From a police department standpoint, I think if you have an open portion of the park that is with a playground, small children, we would look at it to having a fully enclosed park with gates, keep those children in. The last thing we want to have is an accident to happen. And I know from being here at the community and being over at the park, when those gates were installed, people were very happy to have them installed there because of that concern. Now, fences are used for, you know, several different purposes. The heights of the fence definitely come into play to help certain issues as far as like ball containment in the basketball area. I think the basketball hoops are 10 feet. So you need, for basketball, you need definitely a fence that's higher than that. But there's other sports that are played in these areas, not just basketball, soccer, wiffle ball. An athlete as well. The fence height that is there now is a very nice height to have in a park. It also is a deterrent from keeping people in the park after hours. It also helps prevent vandalism from people getting in the park. And it maintains, you know, cleanliness. Nobody could throw anything over the fence if it's high enough, garbage and such. And it's a safety concern because we don't want athletes playing in the park or little children to throw the balls over the fence, and then they run after them into the street. God forbid they get hit by a car, or someone gets hit by a ball walking on the sidewalk, walking with their child in a stroller. Also to prevent vehicles, accidents, damage to parked vehicles. You know, if a ball gets over the fence and hits a vehicle, could cause an accident depending on the driver. And And that we don't like to see that. I know that some of the parks in the city have a larger footprint, and the basketball courts or ball fields are placed more in the center of these parks, and there's not surrounded by streets such as Catherine's Park. So maybe fences in those type of parks don't need to be as tall, because we don't have to worry about the vehicles and the traffic and people running into the street. They're just running into another grass area to get the ball. In this park, it's a little concerning due to the adjacent streets to the park. So we would like to see the ball field maintain those heights for safety, and then the gates in the park to keep the children in, because we just think that having those open areas with little kids, we do have playgrounds. This park is known to have small children, and lots of them. We don't want, we like the fact that they're there for safety. And it also relieves a lot of liability of the city if you have that there to prevent the damage to vehicles if balls are hit over the fence or people walking on the sidewalk. But we have got these concerns from the community, and just knowing those security methods that we use when we talk about fencing in the training that we have, we believe that what is in place does work for the park.
Thank you very much, Officer Larkin. Next, we have Elizabeth Dew with her hand up.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I just want to reiterate what Officer Larkin said and what Judy mentioned. I think that it's actually a dangerous precedent. The park layout was described, the jungle gym equipment in the various sections is identified as being for children, let's say ages 2 to 8, I think in one section, 8 to 12 in another section. If you go into another park like Carl Schurz, for example, the area where kids that are 2 to 4 are playing on equipment, it's fenced in and there's a gate. Our park doesn't, have the room for that to be fenced in. So by definition, we should have these gates at both entrances of the park. I also think it's a dangerous precedent to arbitrarily decide that one gate should be there and the other side shouldn't. If you do it for one, you should do it for both. So I would like, to see that those gates are brought back to the park. The other thing I wanted to mention, and the fence height, I completely concur with. I think that there's dangers for, vehicles, pedestrians that are walking in the street, as well as, the children or, that are going to be running after these balls. The other thing I wanted to bring up was regarding the pickleball and basketball. The issue is having these two sports being played in the exact same space. So removing 2 basketball courts to put in a third pickleball court does not alleviate that problem. It was suggested that we go reduce to 4 basketball courts and give dedicated space where the other 2 basketball courts are to be used for pickle, so that they would both have their own unique space. So in my opinion, this plan has actually gotten worse by reducing the basketball and increasing pickleball. And that is all that I have to add.
Thank you. Next, let's go to Phyllis Wallach.
Hi, thank you very much, police. So on that note, I'm a little confused. When we had this conversation last time, it was presented to us that there was 30 feet between the basketball court and the pickleball courts. And we said that was even more space than what we currently have at Carl Shores Park. So I'm now confused on how we came down to only 3 pickleball courts. And now I'm hearing you've also reduced the number of basketball courts. So can we bring that up and get a better understanding of what happened and where those lines now are on the basketball and the pickleball courts? And I'd too like to understand what happened, especially since, if I understood it correctly last time, this was a request of the school itself to have pickleball. So I'm kind of surprised to see this development.
Kids from the schoolyard, yeah, we're requesting pickleball. There's also pickleball groups that I talked to that would like pickleball. We know it's a very active pickleball area, so we had proposed 4.
Right.
After that meeting, the community had asked us to reduce it to 2. We felt 2 was too little for the need, so we came halfway and we are proposing 3 now.
Why reduction at all? That's my concern. I don't
Why
understand.
reduction from 4 to 3, 4
Yeah.
to 2? That was
More than anything.
that was in the resolution of your board to reduce it to 2.
But they must have had a reason. Do we know what that was?
I can answer that, Phyllis.
Thanks, Judy.
The little children that are in the park area also come and play in the ball field area. So reducing the basketball courts and reducing the pickleball courts still leaves room for them to use their scooters and to ride their bikes and to play whatever games or whatever they do, the little kids, in the ball field. But if you fill in the entire ball field with sports events, then they just have the park. They can't use the ball field at all. And also in the interim, Chris asked me to survey the park and count, look at the benches and where the plaques were, etc. And I sent him a drawing, and I happened to do it at lunchtime when the children were all there from Ella Baker, and the ball field was in heavy use. And they wanted to know what I was doing and why, the whole thing. And so I told them that we were getting ready to hear the park. And I told them about the ball courts and the pickleball courts. And when they heard that there were 4 pickleball courts, all of the teachers thought, and the principal was out, and everybody thought 4 was too many because there wasn't enough room for the kids to be able to play in the ball field, not just basketball and pickleball, that it be used as a play area, which the kids do with their parents all the time if you spend time there. It's not just basketball, it's not just pickleball or handball, but the kids are in that area, and the parents are teaching them how to throw a baseball, how to hit a baseball, etc. And if we have all of these courts and sports laid out in the entire ball field, then there's no room for the children to do their.
Makes sense, Judith. Thank you for the explanation. I appreciate that a lot. And I appreciate all that you all do. You know that. I know it's not easy, and you get a lot of pushing around. So thank you again for everything.
Well, I have to say it's difficult to make everybody happy.
Agreed. I mean, it would be really nice if we could section off the play area so the kids have their protected area, and the pickleball has theirs and the basketball has that. But I don't see that happening in this rendition. That would have been, I think, really nice, so that we don't have to worry and everybody knows where they're supposed to be, and we can avoid some of that contention that we had in Carl Shores before we put the pickleball courts in. You know what I'm saying? Because we still could face that contention if we don't have dedicated space. That's my concern.
Thank you, Phyllis.
Thank you.
Next, I don't see any more comments from or hands up from members of the public. So why don't we go to Rita Popper?
Great presentation, but I have a question. Are you happy? I mean, my youngest grandchild is 16, so out of this, but are you happy with the 4-foot fence around the avenue and on 67th and 68th Street? And the reason I say that is that right here at Rupert Park, the old fence is about 8 feet high. I live across the street from the park and I overlook the park and it's lovely. During the snowstorm, when the park is closed, there are footprints in that park because people have scaled the 8-foot fence. A 4-foot fence is not easy, not hard to scale. And when the park closes, do you want people in who are looking to be in a park? I don't know. I just feel that 4 is very low as a mother and a grandmother. But if you all agree with it, it's your park.
I think it's higher than 4 feet because it's on top of a barrier. But Chris, can you clarify?
Yeah, let me back up the photos here. And you can see the fences on different heights of walls. And we always wondered why it jogged like this. And it turns out every wall here is a different height. So when they installed the fence, all these panels would each be different heights. And that's a lot of, you can't make a jig. Every panel has to be custom. Well, if you just make one height, you can make a jig to cut the fence all at the same heights. So they're all 7-foot panels and they're all on different heights. And that's why we've got this whole up and down, which through my career here at Parks, people have always commented how that fence jogs. Some like it, some don't. And so what we're proposing to do with the parks does have this initiative to lower fences around all our parks. We call it Parks Without Borders. You've probably heard of it before. And this idea is that the park is more transparent. You can see through it and less jail.
Chris, sorry to interrupt, but you're not sharing your screen.
Oh, thank you. How about now?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know. It was shared. I didn't realize it became unshared. So I was commenting how all these walls are different heights, and all the fences are 7-foot fences. So the top of the fences are all different heights as well. So when we go in to make a consistent height that runs across the top here, each one of these panels are going to have to be different. And the initiative, the Parks has an initiative to lower our fences, so we call it Parks Without Borders, and to give a more transparent feel in the park and a less sort of jail-like feel in the park. And so that's our policy for all our parks now. As we go in and reconstruct parks, we're lowering our 7-foot fences to 4-foot minimum. So we will have 4-foot minimum at every point. That means this fence will actually be higher than 4 feet, because we're going to want it 4 feet from this spot where someone can step on. So this fence will be 4 feet, and this fence will be 4 feet plus X. So whatever that X is, and then it'll be 4 feet. So yes, the policy at Parks is to lower the fences and that 4 feet, and this is where we're at with this.
Chris, can I ask a question while you're on this? I understand First Avenue is separate because it goes up and down. But if you go to 68th Street, if you can just show a layout of the park.
Here we go. So this fence doesn't, there is a little jog about here. The fence, there's a change of elevation there. So this corner will be crucial. The height of the fence here will be crucial. If you take the top of the fence here and make it 4 feet, By the time you get down here straight across, it's going to be 7 feet. So the fence is going to take a few jogs. For instance, it might be 4 feet here and then drop and then be 4 feet. It's going to have a few jogs. We want to match, we want to be close to the height of 4 feet here because this existing
If you look at this from across the street, First Avenue, when you're all done, you're going to see one fence height. Is that correct? The fences are all going to line up and be the same height on First Avenue. Is that correct?
That's not going to be correct. No, because if I could go back to this, this ideally that's what it looks like, but we think by the time you get down to the this is 67th.
Right.
We think this is 67th. What's going to happen is as this lowers and the pavement lowers, there's going to be one point where the fence comes across one height, and then it's going to drop and then come across another height to the
So
gate.
when you get to the corner of 68th Street, because that's a high corner, what top of the fence is going to be?
The top of the fence there is going to be around 6. So this fence running across here is going to be close to 6 feet.
That's what I was getting at. And then what happens when you go to the ball field? Does it stay at 6 feet?
Well, this fence, 4-foot fence, is remaining. Is my screen still shared?
Yes. Yes. So you're going to go
so
from
this is
6 feet to 4 feet. You're going to.
This is 4 feet, and then what's happened is this fence, it has a flat top. There's no pickets, none of the little spikes sticking up. This does, and we want the top, the bar, the horizontal bar, the bottom of the horizontal bar line up with this. So this fence is going to be a little higher than this fence. It's going to be about 8 inches higher to the top of the picket. So it turns. So we're going to have a fence that's 4 feet plus 8 inches, and then we're going to have a fence that's 4 feet. That fence is going to come along, and it's going to be a certain elevation here. It's going to be about, I think it's going to be close to 6 feet. And then as it goes down this way, there'll probably be a jog here and come across and a jog there. Whoops, I'm sorry. And then it's going to end up being about 4 feet here and run across 4 feet. And then there'll be a jog, and then it's going to continue 4 feet to about 8 inches. The same corner, it's going to come into a 4-foot fence here. And this fence is going to be about 8 inches taller than because we want the horizontal bars to line up.
And it'll continue 4 feet all the way down towards the school.
This fence is existing and will remain.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
As well as this fence is existing and will remain.
Okay, so the only place there's really a problem, because you have high walls, and this becomes a higher fence. It's really not 4 feet if you can't the cement it's located on.
All these fence panels will be different heights.
Right.
Because of the wall they sit on are different heights.
So the only place that it's really a problem is on 68th Street, where the garden is in front of the ball field, going towards the school. Okay, but that's not a problem if you keep the interior chain link fence, which was referred to before by the officer and some of the people. If you keep that a height, then if people get into the garden, they get into the garden. I don't see them sleeping in the garden, okay? But if there's a high chain link fence there, then we're not going to have to worry about people sleeping in the park.
Right. So that chain link fence is 15 feet. It's 3 5-foot panels, horizontal panels. And we are proposing to lower it to 12 feet. So we're losing 3 feet off 3 sides of the chain link fence. And the west side will keep at 15 feet, which is already on like a 2-foot wall. So it's going to match the height of the handball wall.
Well, I think what you're hearing so far is that the people would like the existing chain link fence to remain.
Here's the top of the fence, and it's like the height of the wall. So when you hit a ball and you go a little to the side, it doesn't. If you have a low fence, it doesn't go over it. So we're keeping the height of the fence the same here, and then as you turn the corner here, we're going to lower it 3 feet and make a 12-foot fence, because we want 12 feet behind the basketballs.
Well, you could keep it the same height all the way around. I mean, you're looking to keep the other fences the same height. I don't know why the chain link fence can't stay the same height. And also, as the officer said, if somebody kicks a soccer ball and it goes out, the lower the fence, the more chance the ball is going to go out into the park or onto the sidewalk or the street and injure.
Correct. Correct.
So I think our thinking is we'd like to have the same height chain link fence all around inside.
Put in the resolution.
Okay, we can do that. Can can we go back to the bench for a minute? I didn't understand where you were moving that bench, because guess whose plaque was the first plaque in the park and whose name is on that bench? It's my husband. It's my husband's bench.
That's your husband's bench?
That's my husband's bench.
This one here.
Yeah, this one, right. No.
All right, let me go way back to the front here and show you where what the thinking is here. You see this the entrance, and it's off to the side.
That little yellow ball right below the arrow, is that
Right
the
there.
bench moving?
That's the bench.
And where are you moving it to?
Well,
Or you're just taking it out?
we'd be moving it like to here, or taking it out. I mean, we wouldn't have a bench here anymore. We'd be relocating the bench with the plaque to where there's a bench without a plaque.
Yeah,
so it'd be
there's no room to put a
it'd be
bench
in here or one of these or something. So you can see that the entrance is just off center of the whole grid pattern of the design. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this entrance and just moving it down a bit so it's in line here.
Okay.
And that kind of ruins. If I can get that cove to still be there, we could keep a bench there maybe. Okay, but look, keep that picture in mind there, how the entrance is a little off center to the square and the circle. And now this is what I'm trying to do.
Okay. Got it. If you can, we'll talk about what bench it goes on. If you'll move the plaque, I'm sure my husband will be okay with it.
Oh, okay. That's the, oh my God. I don't want to move the Barry bench.
Okay, well, what can I say? What else did I want to ask you?
Well, Judy, we have one other member of the hand up. If you want to go to that,
let's call on Julianne. Yes.
Kevin, can we unmute Julianne?
Julianne, I'm sending you the prompt to unmute. Please message me if you're having difficulty with the audio.
Okay, in the meantime, Judy, why don't you continue with your question?
Okay, one other question, Chris. Didn't you say the last time that at the checker tables, you were removing the benches on one side so a wheelchair would be able to pull up to the table?
Correct. So we have 4 picnic tables here, and one picnic table will remove a bench, and we'll remove a bench in this group of 4.
Okay, got it.
And we'll remove a bench here, and we'll remove a bench here. Personally, I think it's a lot. And
Well,
I never understood why the wheelchair couldn't enter from this direction.
you can always do it, and if it's not being used, then I guess some of the benches could be reinstalled.
Could be what?
Reinstalled if it wasn't.
Well, those benches we're not going to store them. As we take them out of the park, they're going to go somewhere.
Okay, so
So I don't know if we would be able to retrieve them to
we can
reinstall.
figure out if they're not, if you take them out for handicapped accessibility for a wheelchair and find that it's just not being used that way, then we'll figure out how to get the funds to maybe replace one or two of them. So I think that's okay for now.
And I see that Julianne is unmuted.
Yes, thank you, Felice. Judy, thank you for this presentation. I just wanted to add a few comments for Officer Larkin and some of the things that you've said. I raised my children, although they're 30 years old now, in this park, and I do feel like the fences, the way they are set up, are very high and in good heights. My son played basketball there plenty of times, and there were a few times where on 68th Street, they do go over the fence and they are into the cars. So I just want to say that that's the only area that I've ever seen sort of a problem, personally, with anything going over the fence on that one side for some reason. And then the second thing I just mentioned is that I do think that this area, and I just don't know how to read these descriptions. So I was hoping that maybe Chris Crowley can comment on this, that this park gets used by a lot of different aged children at different times. And you talk about a Saturday morning, and there could be young children learning to ride a bicycle with training wheels in here. And I'm wondering how that would happen in this new world, because I do feel like you can't exactly teach your kids to go down the streets of New York on a bicycle, but this was, in this neighborhood, an area where you would teach children how to ride a bike. Maybe Chris can comment.
Yeah. Yes. So the site, recreation sites for the size of the city are tight, especially this neighborhood. I showed you in that map earlier. You don't have a lot of other recreational spaces in this community. So the ones we do have, we try to put as much as we can in, and we have to share, and it does overlap things. So we do have a track. Kids can ride around on the track, but that's a problem if there's a group of basketball players here or a handball player. So it's just going to have, maybe if there's handball here, the kids just ride around this way. So it's all kind of an invented thing at the time of how the site is used with the different activities. Think of this as a school gym floor. If you remember when we were in high school gym, there would be lines for volleyball, lines for badminton, lines for basketball, lines for just all kinds of different colored lines for different kinds of sports. This is a multi-sport area. So you have your soccer area that goes back and forth. You go around these lines. This is a base. Those are little base plates there. That's a pitcher's mound. So you can play wiffle ball or kickball or something in that direction. If there's people playing here, you can go to this one and play in this direction. If the sun's in your eyes, you can go and play in this direction, or you can play in this direction. So there's 4 base running games here. There's the soccer, there's the pickleball, there's track, there's basketball, and there's handball. There's a lot going on in the space. And then there's a gym at the bottom of it here, and then just some passive recreation at the top. There's a lot going on. So every sport can't be played at the same time. You'd have to have some basketball, some handball, some bike riding, some kickball, wiffle ball. And then we've done other sites like this where it's a multi-use gym floor on pavement.
So Chris, one question about that multi-use, since you have so much experience with other parks, how do you make sure that somebody just doesn't have a 4-hour basketball game or a 4-hour pickleball so that kids can use the park too? Like how does that operate? Are there
Well,
hours for some, or you put a sign up that says limited activity for 2 hours per group, or I don't know how it works.
I don't know of signs like that. I'm not saying that there aren't any, but have you had problems here with people playing, fighting over a space at the same time?
I'm just worried about the pickleball. I haven't seen this. I remember my son played basketball here all the time, and it was
Yeah.
very individual, and yes, kids rode their scooters and bikes around them. But now that you've added pickleball in there, I'm just wondering how that works. So it's just a question for people that may be more experienced with me, than
So
myself.
I was out there when they were playing pickleball. There's playing pickleball and there's a basketball game going here at the same time. And they weren't really running into each other, but it was tight. And they just kind of played along. Both sides played. The pickleball people played their pickleball and the basketball people played their basketball. And I don't know why. And that was during school hours. So this side of the park was all kids. And then this was the morning pickleball players that had up here. And then there was a couple there's a basketball group here because this was all kids over here. So it just gets used. It's tough to say everyone's going to be sort of respectful to others because that doesn't always happen in the city, especially if you got a hot basketball game going and you want to continue and people are waiting to use that side of the court. I understand it can cause a problem. The other alternative is that we just get rid of a lot of it and just put a couple things in. So there is no overlapping problem. I think the amount of problems there are doesn't justify not having multiple use. I think it's better to have the multiple use, and yeah, once in a while you might have a problem. But I didn't see a problem when I was out there watching. People were sort of doing their own thing in their own space, and it seemed to be working.
Thanks, Chris. And we have two other hands up, Rachel and then Phyllis Wallach.
Hi, I'm Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi. I have an 11-year-old son. I go to this park all the time and to play basketball, primarily with an 11-year-old boy. I see we're reducing the number of basketball from 6 to 4. Is the pickleball the way it is now, that they temporarily put the pickleball up? Or is that going to be a permanent thing?
The pickleball pavement will be permanent.
Okay.
Then they bring their own nets.
I see. I've seen them do
but
this.
So the nets aren't permanent.
Right. I've seen the way it's done now, and that seems to be okay. And everything just flows around it. I will say with the 6 basketball hoops currently, and because most of them are missing the net, there's a bit of competition for these hoops. And 6 is never quite enough. So I'm wondering how it's going to be with 4. Is there a reason we can't add back 2 more?
This is what your community board has put in the resolution. We're trying to abide to it. It needs to be decided by your community if you want 6 or 4. Here's a thought.
I
don't
like
know
6.
How tall is your 11-year-old?
He's about 5'5".
Oh, that's pretty tall for
He's on track to be quite tall.
not that many 11-year-olds that tall, but
no, he's the tallest in his whole grade.
What if these 2 center courts are like 7 or 8 foot high basketball courts? So they have a smaller key, and they don't go out as far, and they could be, be provided for littler basketball players, little kids, etc. That's a possible idea of keeping the 6 court, but also opening up some space.
But then it takes away space along the edges there where little kids could be doing other things, learning a sport, riding a bike, riding a scooter, whatever.
Yep.
So we can't put all these activities in and not leave room for the massive amount of children, which everybody knows, this has been rated the second busiest small park in the city of New York. So we've got to leave room for the kids.
Do you know where the first is?
No.
I think it's Bleecker Park in the Village.
Okay. Take your word
I
for
mean,
it.
another comment, I'll just tell you, yesterday I took a photo of a child. He climbed the entire height of that chain link fence.
Oh,
It was a
jeez.
shock. I do have a photo of that.
Oh, wow. Then we should make it 4 feet.
That child was about maybe 5. And I appreciate that. I know my son was minutes ago on a scooter and scooting around the track and drawing with chalk on the ground and has done all the phases. His entire childhood has been spent at this park, which I consider my backyard. So I'm excited to see it renovated and new, and I'm hopeful. I even think a small, like you're suggesting, a very small basketball hoop is a fun idea. There are 2-year-olds who are throwing a basketball around and kicking a soccer ball and just playing with a ball. So I think anything is fun. But just my comment that I know now with 6, there is a wait sometimes for a hoop.
Well, I try to do as much as I can for you, so it has to
Okay.
be a decision coming from your board.
Looks good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So let's go to Phyllis Wallach and then back to Officer Larkin.
Hi, guys. So one of the things I wanted to say, what I really like about this new drawing is the amount of space the kids have to ride the bikes. Like, that's a good distance between those 2 basketball courts. That's a huge amount of space to just ride back and forth. And you don't even have to ride through the game. So I think that's really great. And even though we've reduced the pickleball to 3, and I did want to address Julianne's concern, is in the summer, we have pickleball courts that do go up during the day, and it doesn't seem to be a problem. But also remember, when school is in session, this is, I think, primarily only used by the school during school hours, unless I'm mistaken. But I'm pretty sure that the pickleball that goes on during those day hours is that put on by the school itself. And there aren't other people going in. And I did want to say that I'm not so sure that 2-year-olds should be running around where people are riding bikes and playing basketball. There should be plenty of space for a 2-year-old with one of those teeny little hoops over in the playground area, to be honest. I would be concerned about a little 2-year-old getting run over by someone running for a basketball or a handball or something like that. So that would be a concern of mine, that little kids would be in here, since we have the little kids space on the other side. But I think this is really looking great. And it looks like a lot of space. I mean, even on like the 68th Street side, to be able to ride a bike from one end to the other end, I think that's going to be great. And it won't interfere with the basketball. And to what you said, Rachel, if we get the 4 hoops in properly, maybe it's better, because you'll have, or maybe we need to get more people playing together too. That's another thing, or rotate the basketball courts just like we do the pickleball courts. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Okay, and we have Officer Larkin and then whoever is iPhone.
I just want to see if any questions before I leave. I don't want to leave without anybody has questions for me, but I just want to thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great evening. And now the gentleman who is iPhone. You're on. Now you're unmuted.
Hello, is Albert? Yes, hello. Is Albert the pickleball doctor? Started Carter's Park, and I started pickleball at Carter's Park 3 years ago. Go to the bottom. We have 3,300 members. We're expecting 4,000 by the end of the summer. This is the biggest pickleball community, practically the entire nation, for 3 courts. First of all, I would like to thank the community board, Julie Manning, C. Wright, all those involved, the commissioner, for the course renovation that was done 2 weeks ago. We're very grateful for that. I would like to discuss two items. A community storage bin. We are the only pickleball community that has no community bin. Riverside has two community bins.
Excuse me, sir. Sir,
Yes.
excuse me. Are you talking about Rupert
Carchos Park.
Carter's Park? Can you hold that and can we
Yes.
go to that when we get done with St.
Absolutely.
Catherine's Park? I'm sorry.
My apologies. Yes, thank you.
I think we need to clean this up before we move on to something else. And your mention of a storage bin was a question that I was going to ask Chris. Chris, will the Parks Department be putting it maybe in the corner at 68th Street near the school? Will there be room over there to stick a storage bin?
Yes, we'll find a spot for it. We talked about a storage bin at the last meeting, and I'm more than willing to put one in. This is for the pickleball people to keep their nets and the posts and stuff like that.
Okay. Now I have a question that's totally different. Actually, I have two questions that are totally different than anything we've discussed. At other parks, they've had to do a stormwater prevention plan. Will this park need that? And if so, because we've been waiting for Rupert now for, I don't know, 3 years, 4 years. And the stormwater prevention plan hasn't been done. So will that be necessary for Carl Schurz?
Most likely. Most likely it will be.
So then we
because
really,
it's mostly asphalt. There's not a lot of absorption in the site.
okay, so then we have no idea how long before this plan is going to come into being, because look how many years we've been waiting on Rupert and they haven't gotten anywhere yet with the plan.
Isn't Rupert going to start construction soon?
Not unless they do is get approval of a stormwater prevention plan. And Felice, is it your understanding that hasn't happened yet?
I haven't heard anything new.
Yes, and last time I spoke to Steve, he said that that had not been approved as of yet. So, Boaz, I see you waving your hand. Go ahead.
Because you're talking about my favorite topic, Rupert Park. Rupert
Yeah,
Park.
but wait a minute. Let's not.
But just one comment. That's it. 1 second. Rupert Park, based on the website, based on the park website, I will share the link in the chat, has been pushed again, meaning that the beginning now they are saying that they will start construction in March 2025.
Yes, well, the stormwater prevention plan is the big problem that hasn't been done for the park. So that's why I'm asking Chris if it's necessary for St. Catherine's, because we'll be living with our existing park for a long time, it seems to me, if a stormwater prevention plan is needed. Chris?
Yes, I was muted. I'm not 100% sure it is needed. I presume it's going to be needed because of the amount of asphalt versus absorbable grass surfaces.
Could you find out for us and get back to us on that?
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I sent you an email on, and the woman who brought it up is here tonight, Ming. I see her picture. And she asked about composting toilets. And I don't know if that's practical for this park because the park house is already set up. And I don't know if they would fit into our existing premises. Maybe you can fill us in on the composting toilets.
I was hoping to have an answer for you tonight on that. Supposedly, I've been told now that architecture has looked into this and has kind of researched the idea of composting toilets in our parks. That's all I've got now. They have looked into it. I went to the person's desk who was involved with it. He wasn't in today. I was hoping to have that answer for you, but I know who to talk to now, and I'll get that answer for you as soon as I
Okay.
can.
Okay, so we don't need that for tonight because they're not going to start on the park house until the next fiscal year. So you'll be coming back to us with that as a
Yeah.
separate project. Okay, is there anyone else with a hand up?
So I don't see anyone else with their hand up. And so based on what I've heard for the conversation tonight, I'm going to run through some proposed elements for a resolution, and you can let me know if there's anything else that should be added to this. So, you know, obviously approving the redesign of the park, but with the sculpture to be placed in another location, so that it's not used as a climbing element.
And possibly even removed from the park.
And possibly removed from the park.
And I think we should put Chris's thing in, if kept there, a small fence around it.
It'd be like the same fence that's going around the garden area.
Okay.
It'd be the same kind of 2.5-foot fence with a little gate, and that can be locked, but at least as an access. And this just gives you a boundary that says don't enter. And then you can even put a sign on it: don't climb on Armillary.
I meant to send you a picture. We have a sign on it.
And the kids are all over it.
Yep.
The existing interior gates, the demi gates, as you described them at 67th and 68th Street, must remain, or new ones put in their place, as this is viewed as a safety feature. He talks about existing benches with the plaques to remain in place, and the one bench that has to be moved, we'll find an alternative spot for that plaque to be placed at. The height of the chain link fence around the ball field will remain as it currently is. That's our recommendation, again, because of safety issue. The height of all park fencing. Now, did you say that that was going to be no less than 6 feet all around if you added on the
No less than 4 feet.
no less than 4 feet, but
Yeah,
even
it'll be up
the concrete barrier. So like
even what?
So it's on top of, so it's 4 feet, but it's 4 feet on top of that concrete barrier.
Correct. It's not 4 feet from the sidewalk. It's 4 feet from the bottom of the fence to the top of the fence will be 4 feet. And the bottom of the fence will be on different size height walls.
Okay, and so that is no less than what? Like, what's the low?
4 feet. We won't put any fence lower than 4 feet.
But I mean from the sidewalk, I think.
I don't think there's any place where there isn't a concrete until you get to the end of 68th Street. But even there, I think there's a piece of concrete that you're putting fence on.
There is. All along here, it's about, I don't know, between 6 inches and a foot high.
It's kind of hard. Felice will have to figure out how to word it. It isn't going to be 4 feet high because it's going to be higher.
The fence will be no lower than 4 feet on top of various height walls.
Okay, that's good.
So that's saying that the fence will be 4 feet plus the height of the top of the fence will be the height of the fence, which is no less than 4 feet, plus the height of the wall, which varies.
Okay. Are there any other elements that should be part of the resolution?
Yeah, I think we need to mention that we now have in the redesign of the park that we have 4 basketball hoops and 3 pickleball court in the redesign of the ball field,
As well as a storage bin for,
as well as a storage bin for the pickleball equipment.
okay. And I guess, a request that the SWIP be, quickly, procured and completed. Just so as not to delay construction. Perhaps that's not appropriate to be part of this, but that certainly is a desire of ours.
Chris, I guess we can't ask you anything about a start date or a presentation or anything, if we don't know about the stormwater prevention plan, because that takes a lot of time.
Correct.
So when do you think that we would have an answer?
So what are you looking for? A construction starting date?
Yeah, construction start date. I know that if we pass a resolution this month, then you can go to the design commission. That you can do.
Yeah, so we'd have the drawings done by around this time next year. Then that goes into procurement, which takes up to 9 months. Then we wouldn't start it in winter, so we'd probably start it in spring, late spring of 26. That's like a best case scenario.
But that doesn't include the stormwater prevention plan.
Right. If that starts taking up time, we don't know.
Okay.
So based on the items that we read out, is there someone who wants to make a formal proposal on the resolution? Barry?
Yes, I'd like to make that a proposal that we vote on approval as outlined by Felice and Judy.
Or is there?
I'll second.
Anyone opposed?
This is for board members only.
So the board members present are Barbara Rudder, Barry Schneider, Bradley, Rita Popper. If there's no opposition, I assume that everybody is in favor of the resolution? Okay, I'm seeing no opposition, so the resolution is approved and we'll more formally write it up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Okay.
And for your work on this, we appreciate it.
Always enjoying working with Community Board 8.
Well, this park is your baby. I mean,
it's one of them. I have a few kids.
Thank you. Judy, do you want to move to the next issue?
Okay, is Sheena with us? Do we have anyone tonight? Sheena, Therese?
I'm here. I'm here.
I hear a voice.
I'm here.
I don't see a face, but I hear a voice. Go ahead,
I'm
Sheena.
here. I don't. Oh, okay. Hello, everyone. Good evening. So I was going to give some updates. This coming Saturday, John Jay is having a fun day, starting at 12 noon. We did refurbish the pickleball courts at Carl Schultz, so that was done. And to piggyback off about the storage bin at Carl Schultz, we have 2 storage bins for the pickleball, the 2 teams there. So there's no more room for bins. We have enough bins there that we allocated to and we have agreements with the pickleball teams that's there. I did receive a call regarding the 24 Sycamore and St. Catherine's pickleball with the Parks Department. unfortunately, because I think they closed down the one at CBM. They are very short staffed, so at this present time, they're not offering pickleball to either of those sites. If they, acquire staff, then they'll resume the pickleball, during the week and on the weekends when they used to do it at both sites.
What were the sites? Samuel Seabury and where?
No, 24 Sycamore
Okay.
and St. Catherine.
Okay, you're talking Sheena, you're talking about the summer program the Parks Department ran, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That usually starts I think it usually starts like May or April. I could be wrong about that, but I think it usually starts then. But they don't have it's because of the short staff, the guy that used to run the program retired. So they weren't able to backfill his position or find anyone to be able to do that. So it's a little that's
Actually, they found someone and he broke his ankle. So
well, that's sad. But
yeah.
Stanley Isaac is open. I mentioned that at the last community board meeting. So I was there a couple of days and I seen some pickleballers playing at Stanley Isaac. It's not the greatest of pavement, but people are using it, so which is great. So that's a plus in that area. Other than that, I still don't have any more updates on Rubric. We're still fighting with them with Rubric. Hopefully, Rubric could start before St. Catherine's.
Okay, thank you, Sheena. Let's hear from Robert McLean, who has the Esplanade District, and then we'll go to the public for questions for Sheena and Robert. Go ahead, Robert.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I got some information for you on the give me 1 second. Okay, I got some information for you regarding the bids, for both the East River Esplanade Phase 2 and 3 reconstruction projects. They are being reviewed by our contracts unit, and we hope to have more to report in the next meeting. Phase 2 is the fenced-off section in CB11 from East 114th Street and to East 117th Street. And Phase 3 includes 3 sites in the Community Board 8 area, which is East 62nd Street, East 63rd Street, and East 76th Street, and East 80th Street. Oh, and also East 90th Street and East 94th Street. So the bids came in. They were a little bit high, so they're being reviewed, but at least the process is in motion. So I'll stay in contact with Steve, and as soon as I find out, we should have more information for you next time we see you.
Okay, that's great. Okay, now we can go to the public. Mr. iPhone, could you please tell us your name before you speak?
Hello, how you doing? My name is Albert, the pickleball doctor, or Albert Carrero.
Nice to meet you, Albert.
Nice to meet you. Yes, I started I'm the founder of Cartridge Park Pickleball. 3 years ago, we have over 3,300 members in our community. We form a beautiful community. But in the meantime, let me first thank the community board, Judy Mannon, Assemblywoman C. Wright, and the Parks Commissioner for the renovation of the courts. We're very grateful for that. We'd like to discuss 2 items: a storage bin and our owning system, our portable owning system. I need to make a correction. There's only one privately owned community bin here.
It's not a community, it's on the
It's
promenade.
not, it's on the promenade and it's privately owned. There is absolutely no community bin. I bring these nets for the past 3 years. Every single day. We use these nets every single day. We, Carters Park Pickleball, clean the courts up, sweep them, remove the rain. We do everything. So we need a storage bin. And we also, the other issue is an awning system. We actually designed an awning system that we used last year on one bench. It was a great success. Many of the senior citizens loved it
Because of the sun.
because here the sun is very strong. There's no shade. We had one individual had a heat stroke last year. Luckily, we were able to reverse the process. A lot of senior citizens are concerned about skin cancer. So we would like to begin installing it like we did last year and expand it for 3 benches. We, in the future, to show our support for the community, would like to expand it all the way to the children's area so that parents with their children can use the play area as our donation for the community, for our gratefulness for being able to play pickleball here. The only system is important also because as a population control, many people are blocking the main entrance with chairs and sitting on the steps, and also having the chairs in the kids area. By us being able to expand the awning system, we could recommend that people will sit on their awning rather than on the kids play area. And this is why I think it's a great idea. And also because there's no shade, but we will also supply the awning system to anybody who's having an event, like for example, if the Conservancy having a day event or Menon or C-Right, we will install it every day. It's portable, but it's a fantastic. The community really loves the idea of having the awning system. And it's at no cost to the community or to anyone. Basically, it's a fundraising issue for the community and again, and everybody loves it. Again, thank you very much for letting.
Thank you very much, Albert. Sheena, do you want to talk about that? I thought you said there were 2 storage bins there.
No. There were 2 storage bins located here. That we signed. I don't know if someone removed it, but that's what we signed up on about a year and a half ago. They were there. They were at the entrance of each entrance of the basketball court. And awnings where we do appreciate pickleball, but I am not going to not allow the children to be able to come out and utilize the basketball court or the middle area for them to be able to do their roller skating or their biking or things.
No, you have
pickleball is enjoyable, but I do have to make sure that we're being respectful to the little kids and the skaters that come out there and utilize this space. And it's just not enough space for that.
Well, this was the same problem with St. Catherine's. All our parks, we don't have enough space, and when we do these events, it's difficult to make everyone happy. Could you do us a favor and let either Felice or myself know this week? Could you check the park when you're up there and let us know if there are 1 or 2 storage bins?
We signed up for 2 storage bins.
I know, but
we signed the contract. I'll have the supervisor send me a picture of it, and I'll send it to you because currently I'm on vacation now, and I just wanted to come to the meeting to make sure. So I'll have them send it. I'll have them send it there.
We're sorry we interfered with your vacation.
No, that's okay. It's always great. It's just that, we don't want, I don't want to have storage bins all around the area, and we settle for the 2. And that's what we signed up for, the 2.
Okay, so maybe Lori could take a look and
I'll have her look tomorrow. I'll send her an email.
Great. Thank you very much. Okay, Boaz, I think you were next.
I will make it short. you probably know what I want to talk about, Rupert Park. I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm really, I love all what you guys are doing. I super appreciate Judith, Felice, Sheena, Rita, Robert. All of you guys are doing an amazing job, but you need to understand where I'm coming from. You know, I have a 2 years, a toddler that just today celebrate 2 years old, friends. We live actually on Rupert Park, right? And every afternoon, after the daycare, we have to migrate to other playground that are not that that I consider it like from a different neighborhood. Like we are going mainly today, one on the East River on the 85 and 85 the East and the Catbird, I think it's called, and then it's overloaded because of us, because of the people that live in that neighborhood. It's causing all kind of a problem. And so, Judy, if you remember, beginning of this year, one of the plan was that we will set up maybe one of those meetings. I know that you guys are meeting every month. One of those meetings to talk about Rupert Park, to bring, I don't know, the expert that will break it down. You know, okay, this is what we have done so far. Show us like a project plan, because I understand right now it's stuck, right? But I want to get a little bit more details, and then maybe we can there are a lot of smart people here. I know that there is Rita here. Maybe we can all think about how we can help you to help us. I hope it makes sense. I mean, if you tell me, I know that you have years of experience in the city. You, Barry, if you guys tell us, Boaz, it is what it is, forget about Rupert Park, you see it in 10 years, because what I noticed in the park, in their website, I shared it in the chat, I don't know if you open, every month they are pushing it in a month. So right now they are saying that they are going to start the construction in March 2025. Listen, I remember that you told me in 2020, listen, we need to review the design because there is already budget and they are going to start the Rupert Park. They are now talking about they are going to start the construction next year, and again they are pushing it every month. They are pushing it in a month, so it seems like it's stuck. And just tell me the truth. If it's Boaz, it's not going to happen in the next 5 years. You know,
Okay, Boaz, I will have a conversation with Steve Simon, and I promise you next month we will get back to you and let you know where we're at.
The pickleball at car shows, please.
Okay.
No, the picture of the storage bins that we placed in car shows.
Next, Jeannie Beck. Jeannie, can you unmute yourself?
Hi, everybody. Thank you for taking me. I'm just going to show you a picture. I'd like to show you. I'm at Carl Schurz Park right now, and I just wanted to ask. There's no bin here. I mean, we have a private. Somebody has a private bin on the promenade, but if I would love to be able to turn my camera around just to show you all the space that's here. You know, we really could use a bin, a community bin for everybody. Jeannie, so I just wanted to add. I just wanted to add my 2 cents in, because there aren't 2 bins here. Just wanted to correct what Sheena said, because we don't have one here. There is a private bin.
Okay.
And I just wanted to add.
Okay, Jeannie, Sheena will check on it. She is on vacation. We will speak with Lori and we will follow up. And hopefully by next month, we will have an answer for you where we are on that. I don't want to take Sheena's vacation time right now.
No, definitely not.
No, she's gonna, I sent someone over there now. When we signed an agreement, there were 2, right?
Yeah.
And when we originally set this up, there were 2 because everyone was bickering with each other. There were 2 groups, and
right.
I gave one area, one side to one area, and the other side to the other area, and we both had everyone signed the agreement. The office is closed where the agreements were signed at. I will reach out to them tomorrow to see if he can email me these agreements. But
Okay,
this was
great.
done because all the job boxes that's around the city we have in these parks, we need to have documentation on, and we need to have people held responsible. And and if someone removed it, I'm sorry, someone did, but I remember us signing off I signed off on two different two different groups because everyone was bickering with one another.
Okay,
And this is how we resolved it. And we said one can have one side and the other can have the other side. And that's how we resolved that matter. So I will send it to the community board. Soon as Lori can give me the picture. If it's only one, she'll send me the picture and I'll send it to you. And then I'll reach out to the recreation tomorrow to give me the two confirmations that the boxes were signed off for Carl Schultz.
Okay, that's
And
thank you.
and Jeannie will have a report next month on this. We will follow up on this issue. We'll be talking to Sheena when she comes back from vacation, and we'll follow up with parks and see what can be done if one has suddenly developed feet and walked away from the park.
Okay, that's
I
great.
think the next person is Andrew Fine.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the time this evening. I'm Andrew Fine, and I'm here to represent the E-Vehicle Safety Alliance. We're a group of 850 people who are trying to reclaim our streets and sidewalks from e-bikes and motorized vehicles that aren't authorized to be there. I'd like to introduce this evening a resolution to ban e-bikes and motorized vehicles from the parks and greenways that we all enjoy and recreate in. It took 50 years to get vehicles out of the park, out of Central Park. But last June 1st, 2023, the Parks Department, in conjunction with the Mayor's Office and DOT, approved a pilot program, a one-year pilot. A year later, the park is now in chaos. The oasis of serenity, the place to escape the hustle and bustle of our daily lives, is now straight chaotic. Crossing the park drive is treacherous. Parents, seniors, and the disabled are terrified. Many are now avoiding the park altogether, including people like my neighbor Jim, who's 89 and uses a walker to make his way around. He's still very sprightly. My friend Bob, who is blind and uses the park drive to get his steps in every day. Crime in the park, since this pilot program was initiated a year ago, has skyrocketed in the last 12 months. Total crime is up 92% in Central Park. Grand larcenies are up 60%, and robberies have skyrocketed by 250%. Many of these robberies and grand larcenies are e-bike related. In fact, there are more robberies involving e-bikes this year in Central Park than there were total robberies all of last year to date. Commanding Officer Levino, Captain Levino from the Central Park Precinct, sent me this evening. E-bikes present us challenges when used as getaway vehicles after crimes. Besides being difficult to stop, especially at times when the park is crowded, perpetrators often exit the park before the complainants have an opportunity to complete a 911 call. A fleeing suspect on an e-bike, which could travel at a relatively high speed compared to pedestrians, poses a safety risk, particularly when pedestrian paths are used. And unfortunately, that's very, very often. Anybody who's been in any of the parks would know that the paths are now being used, the pedestrian paths are being used by e-bikes that are speeding at 20, 25, and 30 miles an hour. 2 weeks ago, the parks unilaterally, without any public discussion, without any involvement of the community board or even the police department, decided to unilaterally renew this program on their own. That's despite our protests and everything else. We at the E-Vehicle Safety Alliance You can find us at nycevsa.org. Respectfully request a resolution that CB8 rejects this pilot program and endorses New York City Council Intro 0060, which would ban e-vehicles from parks and greenways. Thank you for your consideration. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Andrew, we can't put a resolution on the floor such as this, number one, without, it hasn't been posted on the agenda. It has to be posted and the community has to be told. And also, I think that Felice and I would have to speak with the people from the Central Park Conservancy about this before we put it on the agenda. Now, I don't know if I don't know if we'll be able to do that for July. We already have our July agenda scheduled, but we'll get back to you and we'll let you know. And thank you for bringing up.
I appreciate that, and I would love consideration for July. If I had known that this was going to happen in advance, because the pilot program was to expire on May 31st, just a couple weeks ago, we found out on June 3rd that Parks had unilaterally decided to renew the e-bike pilot program in the parks. And I'm sure people on this call recognize that our last oasis from serenity, our peaceful enjoyment of the park is now greatly violated, and nobody wants to get hit by one. And unfortunately, at the E-Vehicle Safety Alliance, we have 85 people who have been grievously impacted by e-bikes, including death,
We do
paralysis,
understand the problem, and it is a problem. I agree with you, but we'll get back to you and we'll let you know how we're going to proceed with it, but we can't pass a resolution tonight.
Fair enough. Much appreciated. I appreciate the consideration and your time.
Okay. We haven't heard from any of our board members yet. Phyllis has her hand up, but let's hear from Rita Popper.
Hi, Judy and Felice. As you know, Rupert Park it's in our neighborhood. And I have to tell you that I think it gets short shrift. Boaz is not incorrect. I don't have the authority to go and yell at Steve Simon so that, but you do. And I don't really get the feeling that there is an urgency to get Rupert Park done, even though there was an urgency to get the money, which we got. We got more than we needed. And Boaz is right. It's not this month, it's next month. It's with the bidders. It's been bid on now for over 8 months. And I have to know how you're going to help or what I should do, because this is absolutely insane. We don't have a park here. We don't have a choice of parks. We don't have it. We only have this one park. Help.
We will help you, and we do know it is important. We've all been with you on this Rupert excursion that we've been on, and as far as I know, at the moment, it's this stormwater prevention plan that's holding up the project, but we will get into it with Steve, if not tomorrow, certainly next week, and I will, and Felice, one of us will get back to you, Rita, and we certainly will have a report for next month's meeting.
Thank you. And besides that, I want everyone to know that the art committee is having an art show on James Cagney Place, which is 91st Street between 2nd and 3rd Avenue, next Saturday from 10:30 till 4. I hope to see everybody there. It's entertainment and art and photography. Thanks,
Rita.
Hi,
And-
guys.
Phyllis?
Yes. So I just want to say, Sheena, you're right. There was an agreement for two groups to have it. Each group had to pay for the bin and pay for an insurance policy for that bin. One group did that. The other group did not come up with the money to get the second bin. That's why there is no second bin. The first group that has the bin has offered the use of that bin to the other group without any charge or anything. So there really should be no need for a second bin. But that was the thing, and it would not be fair to say, okay, you can have a bin and not pay for it when the other group is paying for the bin. We have to be fair to everybody. So I just want to say that's what the story was, Sheena. So yes, there was an agreement because I was going to pay for the second bin, but I didn't want the liability on the insurance policy, and that's why I didn't go ahead and get the second bin. But you are correct. That was the agreement, Sheena.
Thanks,
But there
Phyllis.
is no second bin, just so we're clear, because it was not paid for.
Okay, Albert, I think you'll be the last one. Do you have a comment to add to Phyllis?
Yes. Normally, every other park pickleball community gets their own free public community bin. Those that are representing the community, like we are with 4,000 members, but or 3,200, we are the ones that are using the park daily from 8 in the morning to sundown. And like I said, all these parks get usually a free community bin. Central Park, Riverside Park, St. Vincent. I speak to all these leaders. It's all free. It's a community bin. It's not. What she's referring to is a private bin. We are not a nonprofit. We are just a community that comes here and plays together. That's it. We are not a nonprofit.
We'll follow up.
Albert, we're
Yes.
going to settle this because Lori is going to go there tomorrow. She's going to look at the bin. She's going to see if it's accessible to everybody. And she's going to report back to Sheena, who will tell us what is going on. So this discussion will just keep going on and on. I think we need to have some facts. Okay. And right now, everybody's just, and we don't have the facts. So we're going to leave it for Sheena to do. If we don't get an answer this week, we'll get an answer next week. I feel guilty busting into Sheena's vacation time. So it can certainly wait until next week.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So thank you all for coming. Thank you all for expressing your concerns. And I think the concerns are valid, particularly on Rupert, which has been going on forever. And we will, Felice and I will try to continue to follow up with the Parks Department and see if we can't get some concrete answers. And we'll get you an answer about the bins. And if there's a problem, we'll work it out. Felice, is there anything else?
Motion to adjourn?
Yes, I think Barry is about to raise his hand and make a motion to adjourn.
Excellent. Thank you, everybody.
Okay.